All rise. Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1011, Berkeley versus Alberts.
Thank you. Okay, you all may be seated. Okay. Miss or Mrs.? Miss Berkeley, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Your Honor, I'm here to get custody of my grandchild and also to make my or soon-to-be ex-son-in-law, to pay the child support.
All right, guys, buckle up, because today's case is about to take us on a legal roller coaster. A grandmother is stepping into court demanding custody of her granddaughter and back child support from the father. The stakes huge, the emotions even bigger. Judge Bundy sets the stage, confirming the case details. A grandmother lost no time. She stepped in when the father in her view walked away. Now she wants the court to recognize her as a rightful guardian, but here's the catch: the father isn't legally obligated to her. The judge knows this won't be an easy decision. This isn't just about love, it's about law. Can a grandmother override a biological parent just because she believes it's best? We're about to find out. Let's dive in.
My daughter was diagnosed with lymphoma, and Your Honor, it was a long and difficult process, as you can imagine, and he wasn't up for it, and he left. And so I went and helped my daughter and helped my granddaughter through this process. And they had been legally separated. He was paying child support, but when my daughter did pass away, I checked into the account. I had access to her financial business, and I checked the account, and he was not putting the payment in there. So I am looking for the back payments that are due, and I am looking to get custody of my granddaughter.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm clear. Your daughter is deceased now.
Yes, ma'am.
And my condolences.
Thank you.
You're pretty much trying to step into the shoes of your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand.
I think it would be far more appropriate for me to be raising the daughter than for him.
Okay, why do you believe it would be more appropriate?
He has a lifestyle that I don't necessarily think is best for raising children.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get that from him. Mr. Alberts?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's going on?
The grandmother doesn't hold back. She recalls her daughter's battle with lymphoma, the pain, the struggle, and how the father supposedly wasn't up for it. She stepped in when he walked out, and now she believes she's the best choice for custody. Then comes her financial argument, back child support. She claims the father stopped paying after her daughter's death, leaving the child without support. But legally, child support isn't meant for the grandmother. It was meant for the mother, and with her gone, the judge has already seen the flaw in her case. Finally, she takes aim at the father's lifestyle: too much time in bars, too much reliance on babysitters. But speculation isn't evidence. The judge is about to challenge every claim she's made.
Some of those details are correct.
Which ones are not correct?
The fact that I bailed on my wife, our marriage was over a long time before that diagnosis, and we mutually agreed that I would pay child support, that I would support her financially, and I did until she died. And now there's no one to pay child support to, and I don't know why she's dragging me in here, trying to take my kids away from me. Talking about my lifestyle, saying I didn't love my wife.
What lifestyle is she talking about?
I don't know. Ask her, Your Honor. I really don't know.
What lifestyle?
Well, he spends a lot of times in bars.
Okay.
A lot of time in bars. He spends a lot of money on babysitting because he spends a lot of time in bars.
Okay. Going to the bar is legal.
True. But who's going to be there to help with homework? Who's going to be there to hear the sad story of how she was bullied in class that day? A babysitter? I don't think so.
So are you always at the bar and leaving the baby with a babysitter?
No, Your Honor. Anytime
How would she know that?
Maybe because I call every night to say goodnight to my granddaughter,
Okay.
and it's the babysitter that picks up the phone.
Okay. So you don't necessarily know whether he's there or not, right?
Well, why would there be a babysitter there if he's there?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you don't necessarily know if he's present or not. You just know that the babysitter picks up, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Technically, yes.
Okay, well then technically you don't really know what he's doing unless you are actually at the bar with him.
Now, it's the father's tour's first move, setting the record straight. The marriage was over before the diagnosis. He didn't abandon his wife. They had already moved MD on. That changes the emotional weight of the grandmother's argument on child support. He's firm. He paid while his ex-wife was alive. Once she passed, the payments legally stopped. He isn't dodging responsibility. The law simply doesn't require him to keep paying. The judge is already leaning in his favor. Then the lifestyle accusations. The grandmother claims he's always at bars, but how does she know if she isn't physically there? She's relying on secondhand information. And in court, assumptions don't win cases, evidence does.
Or you have someone spying on him, which is completely wrong. But that really has nothing to do with why we're here today. His child support should have stopped because there is no one to pay the child support to. Your granddaughter lived with your daughter, right? At the time of her death. Right. So you can't step into the shoes of your daughter. But only other living parent is dad.
True, but Dad was not around for the last 2 years. I was.
Right, but the child now has been living with Dad since your daughter passed away, right?
Yes.
And when did your daughter pass away?
About a year ago.
Yeah, your rights are not superior over his in this particular case. There wouldn't be. There's no reason why he should be paying child support to you. You had access to the account that the money was going into because of your daughter. But now that she's deceased, there's no one to pay the child support to. So he should not be paying child support anymore. So he did the right thing. You just may not agree with it, but
I do not agree with it, Your Honor.
Why do you need the money?
I don't need the money. I need to make sure that my granddaughter is getting everything that she deserves.
But how would you know that if she lives with him? Now, if she lived with you, that would be valid. But if she lives with him, you can't necessarily speculate and say what he is or he isn't doing.
Well, I know what my granddaughter tells me.
Well, we're not going to go into that because children aren't very honest all the time. And how old is this child?
6.
Yeah, they have a very big imagination. So, I can't do anything about that. He should not be paying child support. And I'm assuming you cover the child on health insurance?
Yes, Your Honor.
The only thing I can order, pretty much is that he maintains that child support. The medical support on the child. But other than that, and that's through your employer?
Yes.
That's all that he can be ordered to do. I'm not going to make him pay child support for a child that belongs to him and that lives in his house.
Fine.
Okay.
Now the law takes over. First child support denied. The judge makes it clear with no legal recipient. The father is not required to keep paying. That claim is officially off the table. Next, custody. The grandmother argues that she should take over as the primary guardian, but the judge shuts that down. The father is alive, and unless proven unfit, custody belongs to him. That's how the law works. The judge offers one final clarification if real evidence of neglect comes up, things could change, but for now, the grandmother's claims don't hold weight. The ruling stands, and this case is closed.
Anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from you?
What if the child wants to come live with me?
Well, she's 6 and you're not her parent. So she does not get to make that call. Now, dad starts doing something, like if it's actually proven that he's been neglectful and going to bars or anything like that, and the child ends up living with you, then yeah, but you're not the parent. So unfortunately, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
Okay. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
And that's how legal reality plays out. The grandmother came in believing love should outweigh legal rights. But the court sees it differently. Parental rights don't transfer based on emotion. They're determined by law. She may have been the emotional backbone of the child's life, but that doesn't give her superior rights to father flaws. And all is still the legal parent, unless something drastic changes. That's not up for debate. This case is a perfect example of how legality and morality don't always align. The grandmother's role was important, but it wasn't enough to override the father's legal standing. And at the end of the day, the law speaks louder than sentiment.